All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Survivor Palisades episode 6 exit interview. I am Emmett, the creator, producer, host, and editor of Survivor Palisades, and I am joined with the sixth person voted out of this game with an idol in her pocket. What happened? Abigail, Abigail, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Emmett. Thank you for asking.
First question that I have for you. How are you talking to me right now? How did this happen? You literally
Oh.
played one of the most dominant games in Survivor Palisades for the first five episodes. You were in control like completely. You were absolutely running the game. I think like last week I was looking at the comments. Everyone had you like first and like safety going into the next week. Like, how did this happen? This is crazy. I'm so sad to be talking to you so not even early in
I
this
know.
process, but I thought I that day I think you probably could tell. I thought you were going to go all the way. You were playing so well. So just talk me through that really quick.
Yeah, I have literally lived with this decision for the past year and a half, and every time I think about it, I'm like, why did you not just play that idol? I was so like short in my girls' alliance. I thought our girls were all strong together. And I had even heard Chloe, like when Chloe was talking to Sean and Chase, like I had heard her bring up my name once, and then I walked
Mm.
over and they was just so locked in with my girls' alliance, and I was unsure why anybody would feel the need to flip or anything. So I was just like, oh, if I have this idol in my pocket, like that will be good for me moving forward. And I was only looking ahead and just very, I guess, too trusting of my alliance.
Mm. All right. Well, I have some more questions for you, and we'll get into sort of all of that. But first of all, let's talk about just getting into All-Stars. So I don't know if you remember, but you were one of the last people that like ended up saying yes to do this. I know you're not maybe on the fence for a second, but you were like, "Oh, should I play again? Should I come back?" You played season one, which I don't think anyone here watching will know, but you played a really dominant game. You got second. You lost to Dylan by a few votes. You come back season two, you don't make it as far. So coming in, you sort of have like a lesser perception compared to other people. Talk me through when you eventually said yes, what it was like preparing. I don't think people know this, but you're probably one of the biggest Survivor fans on the cast. You love Survivor. So just tell me what was going through your head, what you were looking forward to, what you were planning to do, all of that.
Yeah, I was definitely excited to come back after season two because I feel like I didn't build those relationships that I had wanted to build. And like watching, like, so I've watched like mostly every season, and like the biggest thing is like I wanted to be that person that was like in the middle and like knew what everything was going on, which I feel like I did accomplish at the end of the day. But I was making sure I went in like setting myself up well and not like closing anything off. And I was so excited for like the opportunity to just like meet everybody, because also I had watched like seasons 3 and 4, and I was like excited like watching them their gameplay. I was excited to like play with those players who I had watched, like EllaRose and Stratton, and who were like, and Chloe, who were, the like big dogs. So I was really looking forward to that. And it was like nice that when I got in, I was able to like make those relationships and kind of like establish myself as an all-star, because I didn't feel as though I was necessarily an all-star, but like I was able to like keep up with those players.
You beyond kept up with them and you outlasted most of the big dogs. But let's talk a little bit more about what it felt like just coming in on that day. What was like the adrenaline like right when you guys were starting the game? You had, as I said on previous podcasts, the intro shots were filmed beforehand, like the marooning going to the car. You guys weren't allowed to talk, but you knew like Dylan and Vanessa and Stratton were going to be on the season. What did it feel like just seeing everyone for the first time? What was running through your head in that moment?
I think seeing everyone was like very shocking. The most shocking one for me was Gage, because like I was just like he's just such a wild card. I had no idea what it was going to be like playing with him. And then like seeing also Vanessa, like just figuring out how these like dynamics were going to work. I was trying in my head to like picture how like the alliances could work, and I was already trying to like build like certain like groups that I could see forming. And then I kind of just like was telling myself like, no, like you just have to let it go with the flow. Like when I aligned.
Abigail lost connection there for a second, but we are back. So don't even worry about it, guys. I think the last thing that I heard you say was like you're talking about how you weren't trying to like push things to happen at the beginning. You were sort of like how me and Anna align. That just sort of happened. But yeah, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I think mine and Anna's alliance like definitely surprised me because she's like very loud and like out there and I'm like more of a reserved player, but I think that served us like well in the
Mm,
end because I was able to like calm her down and whenever she was like freaking out about things, and also like she was able to like talk to a lot of people. And I think like when we started coming together, I was just like, oh wow, like I didn't see this happening, but it just felt natural and it was just like
mm.
working. So I kind of just went with like whatever was like felt good.
Totally, totally. Talking about the other, Cele members, there are five other there. Was there anyone that you going in were wanting to fill that gap that Anna ended up filling? Was there, a Dylan and EllaRose, Vanessa? Did you want someone else to be your ally originally?
Yeah, kind of Vanessa. I thought me and Vanessa would be like good alliance members because we're like similar in age. We're like I just like really liked her like gameplay and how she was like so like cutthroat and like very just like said what she meant, and I liked that, and I thought like I wanted to be aligned with her, and I feel like we were gonna get there if she hadn't been voted out. And so that was like really sad for me when she did get voted out, but then I was like, okay, it's okay, like I have my other alliance members, but definitely Vanessa. And I think maybe like Dylan could have worked out in a different like sense if things had like shaken up differently. I
Mm.
feel like me and Dylan could have worked together well, and I felt bad with how I handled certain things, like when he asked me and Sean to make an alliance or things like that. Um, but yeah.
It's funny because every single interview on Cele, and we'll talk about you and your role in Cele, but every single interview on Cele, when Dylan's like, I'm on the bottom, and the person's like, who do you want to work with? He's like, I want to work with Abigail. Like, I want to. So, like, I would say, like, remotely, you guys honestly did work up well together until this vote, which we'll actually talk about in a little bit as well. But just going off of that, just talk to me a little bit about you, like, very much controlled the entirety of Cele. Like, yes. Dylan's idle play did not go the way you wanted it to, but I would say it was one of the better options for you for Vanessa to go there. Maybe Ella Rose going would probably have been better for you. But how were you able to both control the vote and then also stay out of the vote when the opposition was coming for you? How did you manage to play both sides so well like that?
I think I kind of just like tried to make everybody feel like I was with them, like especially like Gage in the beginning. I definitely made him feel like I was with him, and I kind of just like formed like those relationships and talked to everybody and was like, and I kind of just like to remain calm and like tell people like,
Mm,
oh, this is what we should do, like, and I hear what they say and then I just go like, okay, but like either I'll agree with them or I'm like tell them calmly like I think this is the right way. And I think the best way is to never like get too paranoid or get too heated about anything, because then people see that as like a sign of weakness and then they don't want to
mm.
trust you or they don't want to like do your plan. So I just kind of tried to like go like get into every group and also like stay calm was like the biggest thing.
Totally, totally. One interesting thing about the first vote one interesting thing specifically about the first vote was just sort of how it all played out, how like Anna was the target and then you guys ended up being the middle. Do you think your calmness there sort of like aided you and Anna to get in the middle while she was sort of being loud? You guys were sort of placed in the middle and it just the heat of the moment, the two sides arguing. How did you get to that point?
Yeah, I think like kind of me and Anna like when I'm being able to like ground her kind of like helped us to like occupy that position in the middle, because if she had like been on her own and just been like losing it and going around to everybody, like they could have been like, oh, like Anna's paranoid, this isn't good, like maybe we
Yeah,
should just vote her out. But like them seeing that me and her like were good to work with, and like that made them trust us and like be like feel comfortable telling us things and like also want to keep us both, like helped us get that position in the middle. And we like helped us those conversations that we had like repeatedly with Vanessa and Ella Rose and Gage and Dylan like helped us to like switch their votes in their minds.
totally. And this is cut out from the edit, but there's a lot of times where Anna will be like Gage will say something and I'll be like, "What? That's not." And then you'll just be like, "Anna, just like listen." So I totally think you guys definitely you filled each other's gaps like that super super well. Let's talk about Ella Rose for a little bit. Ella Rose was talking last week about how like she wished in an alternate universe you and her ran the game. She sort of picked up, I think, during the game that you were a similar player to her, and I think because you guys didn't initially align, that more so threatened her because it came to the point where you guys
Mm.
couldn't work together because it was later. But had there been earlier trust built there, do you think there's a world where you and Ella Rose could have like taken over the game? I know you were a big fan of her season 4.
Mhm. Yeah, I think me and her working together would have been like an insane, like strong duo, but I feel like I was more of like a fan of hers and kind of saw her
Mm.
as this like celebrity that I was kind of scared to like work with her,
Yeah.
like in a way, because I was just like watching her gameplay and she just seemed like I remember I said like I know she has so much going on up here and I just feel like that kind of scares me. And I think like the only way that we could work together as if like we're like each other's number ones and like if
Mm.
we were fully just doing everything together and like because I didn't fully trust her because I knew like she had just so much that she was planning to do.
Yeah.
I feel like we could have worked together for like a time, but eventually like I was always gonna like see her as this threat.
Totally. Totally. All right, let's jump to the merge. So, first of all, you absolutely destroy that plank challenge. Oh my God. It was so much fun when we were watching it at the premiere and everyone was just cheering for you. But yeah, the fan reaction
Hmm.
has been just like so excited. But let's just talk about going into the merge first. You lose Vanessa, you have Anna. You mentioned that Ella Rose has connections on the other side. But you still managed to get control of this first vote with pretty much no blood on your hands. Ella Rose sort of takes the fall for making the big move. How did you get to do that? How were you able to flip it on Stratton? And also, what was your impression of the Red Tribe right away? Like, were you scared of them? Did you think there were cracks? What did you sort of gauge from that right away?
I think they were trying to make us like think that they were all like strong coming in. They didn't want us to like see any cracks in them. And they all came at us like attacking us, like, oh, Dylan, you're okay
Yeah.
with Dylan, you're okay with Dylan. And I just kind of wanted to do my thing again where like I get to know everybody, get to feel it
Mm,
out, like kind of feel like who I want to work with, what relationships are naturally working out and which ones aren't.
yeah.
And I didn't want to just jump into like anything. And also, Dylan was a blue member, even though we weren't necessarily aligned. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I still didn't want to like have red over us. And I feel like I didn't get blood on my hands because Ella Rose and Stratton, like, we're like such an alliance. And the fact that the fact that he got voted out kind of like made it seem like it was like her.
Totally.
And yeah, I just I feel like like Stratton, like I had always seen him as like a big threat and I wanted to like get him out as soon as possible. And I kind of saw that like opportunity right away. Like there was no need to wait around or like vote out Dylan either because Dylan didn't have any like strong bonds.
Totally. Totally. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about your mistrust from Sarah. This wasn't really shown in the edit because it's kind of a hard thing to edit, but maybe not mistrust, but at least the first round of the game. This isn't fully shown, but I know you and Anna were a little bit hesitant about Sarah, and that's why you inevitably let her out of the vote. Tell me a little bit about why you didn't fully trust Sarah that first merge round compared to another red member like Chloe or Chase.
Yeah, so when we were trying to vote out, like I was trying to switch the vote to Stratton and I was talking to Chloe and Sarah, Chloe was more open and she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like maybe." And Ella and Sarah was just like, "Oh, like I don't know, like I don't think that's a good idea." And it kind of just like made me wonder like, oh, why is she like not open and it seems like she doesn't want to work with us. And it just like she seemed very closed off and I was like, okay, like she's gonna stick with like what she knows, like she's probably gonna be close with Ella Rose and like her like red tribe members, she's like trying to keep that strong. And it didn't seem like she had an interest in working with us at first, and I like didn't really like that, but I was just like, oh, okay, like that's fine, we don't have to work with her. But that kind of like made me just realize like I'm not gonna trust her fully right now because it doesn't seem like she's giving us like any reason to trust her or she doesn't trust us.
Totally. Totally. Where was I? Oh, so speaking of Chloe, you mentioned Chloe here. What was your impression of Chloe like on this day? Like when you were playing with her, did you sort of see any of those like strategic sides that she maybe more so has in her confessionals? Did you see that while you were playing with her those 3 rounds?
I genuinely did not. Like, I knew Chloe was super strategic, super good at the game. Like, her social aspect of the game was so strong. And I wanted to go in and work with her because I knew that she was good at making connections and building trust with people. And she was just like a genuinely a nice person. So, like, I wanted to like align with her. And like, throughout the whole thing, she had been like, I didn't really see her as like some like cutthroat person who was like making all these moves. She kind of was like hearing what people were saying and was like, "Oh yeah, is that best for us? Is that best for me? Okay, like let's do it." And I never like saw her like turning or anything. I just like genuinely saw her as like a nice person who I could trust and who I like wanted to build a relationship with.
Totally. Okay, let's expand on that in a few more players. How about Dylan? When you're playing with Dylan, we also see in his confessionals in the show very strategic thoughts, and then he sort of plays a little bit more dumb and in sort of the group setting. Were you reading that Dylan was playing higher than he was sort of letting on at this part of the game too?
Yeah, I definitely knew like Dylan had a lot going on in his mind. Like he was very strategic. I just think he didn't have any avenues to kind of pursue like any ideas that he was having because he didn't have those like deep relationships.
Mm.
So I like was wary. I know like Dylan is such a strong player, so strategic. Um, which everybody was like threatened by him, and then we didn't vote him out yet. So I think yeah, I knew that was there, but he didn't have any like avenues to like act on any of that strategy, so I wasn't like worried about that.
Yeah. All right, one thing that I don't know if people, if you watch the episode reviews and if you watch the episode reviews and the episode interviews, you'll know this. But I don't think the cast, most people who watch the show, know that you're related to Sean, that you guys are siblings. Just talk to me a little bit about that. I didn't include it in the show because it really did not come into play at all. But yeah, tell me, or at least very visibly, but just tell me about that. What did you think that was going to affect your game, or how that was going to affect your gameplay?
I didn't really think it would affect it. I think if anything, it could affect it negatively, just
Mm.
because like me and Sean, like I just feel like we know that we're siblings, obviously, so we wouldn't want to align because of that. Like,
Yeah.
and we like, because it like doesn't show like a good like view on us because could be like, oh, they're siblings, and also like we just don't really want to be in an alliance. We want to like talk to other people. And yeah, I feel like it genuinely didn't come into play except when he did like vote me out and my parents definitely were like, "Oh, like Abigail got voted out before Sean," and like
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So yeah, just talking a little bit more about Dylan, your relationship with Dylan. As we sort of talked about, you guys were working together remotely while still being apart. He was in your plans. You were in his plans really up until this point, and then just this episode, we see just so many shifts of relationships in episode 6. One thing that really stuck out to me, like as a producer that day, was during that episode. It was the first episode of the day that there wasn't much intermingling. Like it really was set sides from the beginning to the end of the round. Like episode 5, for instance, even though the boys are on the bottom, you still have a lot of conversations with the guys, so do other people. But episode 6, you and Sarah and Anna don't really have these conversations with the guys. Do you wish that you had sort of roped in Dylan a tiny bit more that round or tried to gain his trust so he wouldn't flip on you? Is that a way? Or like, I don't know. I've even gone through like the math of this. Like, I don't know how much you really even did wrong just having that idol. Is it just bad to get an idol in an auction? Should you just always play right away? What is the solution to all of this? I mean,
Mhm.
what could it even be?
I know. I do kind of regret not talking to the boys like much that round because
Mhm.
I remember I was set in my girls lines and I felt comfortable in it and I just saw the boys as like they were the three of them, but they like weren't even really in an alliance. They weren't gonna do anything because I was like Chase and Dylan, they're not aligned. Sean's like the only connection that them two have, and so like they're kind of just like in the background, and they can like they're gonna do like what we do probably because like
Mm.
I felt Dylan was closer to like any of us than like them. But honestly, like look like I mean obviously I look back on not playing that idol so many times, but like it's such a curse to like get that public idol because like that's all people think about. They like look at you and they're like, "Oh, like she could have the idol." When it's like if I just played it like it would have been over and would have been done with and like having an idol like it just automatically puts a target on you and then it's like takes the power away.
Totally. Yeah. So I guess if you do play the idol that round, you would be safe. You'd be in the final six. Sean would be going home. You'd be at camp with the four girls. You'd probably be pretty mad at Chloe, who had voted for you. So say you did play that idol. I mean, what happens? You are probably in one of the best places at this point to win the season, honestly, if you survive this. And I think you know it, and all the fans know it. You were like literally playing one of the best games easily. But do you think you could have taken it had you survived that one?
I mean, I honestly think definitely I could have. Like, after that vote, like, I still had Anna and I still had Sarah, and then they would have been angry at Chloe. And then I feel like easily that would have been a chance for me to work with Dylan and capitalize on that relationship we had been trying to build throughout the game. And yeah, definitely if I'd made it through that one vote, I wouldn't have had the idol, so people wouldn't have been scared of me. And I just feel like really from there would be like when I could like fully take control of the game and like break free from that like girls alliance that never even worked. So yeah, I think I could have won it.
So close. Well, before we wrap this up, anything else that you sort of wish you would have done differently? I know we talked about the idol, but any other small things that you wish you had done on that day? Any maybe like micro moves or just anything you're really proud of? I mean, you played like a phenomenal game. I don't even think I have to emphasize this anymore because you played, at least at this point, if not the best, one of the very best games out of the final seven. And I think there'll be an argument for when the season ends that you're one of the best players in this entire season easily. But anything else you would have done?
Um, I mean, I don't I mean honestly like I feel like with Dylan that was somewhat of a missed relationship. And also I feel like in the end like yeah, I feel like in the end we could have worked together well and like we just had like that like connection from season one and we could have like capitalized on more of that and like made moves together and people wouldn't have seen it coming. But I genuinely like did do what I wanted to do, which was go in, get in the middle, get control, be in relationships and alliances with everyone. So I don't really think I would like change anything except for obviously playing that idol, but
Yeah. And just to give you a tiny bit of credit here, I mean, I've said this for pretty much every person, but it's very applicable here. Like you guys have like no time to think about the repercussions of your actions or the long term. Like to be able to not only map out what you have to do, but what other people are going to do. Like so hard to see. Becca just texted me about the vote off. She just watched it.
oh
Becca
my
could have been on
God.
this season too. Imagine Becca and you working together. That would have been awesome. Crazy
Oh my
word.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really is so difficult to make these decisions so quick. I know I couldn't like do it, or maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to make a point that it's really hard. So anyone watching at home being like, play your idol, it's a lot harder than that. There are so many variables, and it's overwhelming on so many aspects. Like having so many cameras in your face. There's so many crew members there watching you. You guys really did have so little food. You had just planked for like 5 minutes. I'm sure you were sore for like a few days after that. So there's a lot of factors here. But I just want to say, Abigail, thank you so much for being a part of this season. I am the fan base, and so many other people are so grateful that you came back. You absolutely knocked it out of the park. You fulfilled your All-Stars legacy easily. You know, I have one more question for you, actually. Would you ever play Survivor again, whether that be on some other show or the real version?
I definitely would. Like I would love to be in any sort of type of Survivor again. Like it's so much fun, so exciting. Like it just like makes me feel like alive and like so much adrenaline. Like I would love to be like in Fiji and like doing this.
Totally. Totally. Well, anything that you want to say to the to your fans at home or any last minute regards you have for anyone watching?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all your support. And I'm sorry I let you down by not playing this idol, but I love you all.
All right. Well, as I said, thank you so much, Abigail, for everything. We will not be back next week for an episode. We are having 1 week off, but episode 7 will air November the 13th. Episode 8 will air November the 20th, and the finale will be on the 27th of November, the next Thursdays at 5 p.m. But we do have our after show airing tomorrow, Saturday, the 1st of November at 1 p.m. Eastern. So go check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.